Hello everyone, my name is Ashley Bish. I am the Digital Marketing Strategist here at Sierra Experts, and I am joined with Mark Sokolowski, our VP of Sales.
Hi everybody.
Today we are going to dive into a video presentation by Demetirus Bell Jr. He is a Partner Technical Specialist at IBM, and he will share insights on data storage solutions. But first, let me turn it over to Mark, and he'll tell you about what Sierra Experts can offer your organization.
Thanks, Ashley. I'm Mark Sokolowski, VP of Sales at Sierra Experts, where I lead our client relationships and sales operations across all service areas. Over my years here, I work with countless organizations struggling with legacy storage systems that can't keep pace with modern demands. These outdated solutions create bottlenecks and limit growth potential. That's exactly why we partner with IBM to bring you today's discussion. Sierra Experts specializes in helping organizations modernize their IT infrastructure, and IBM's Flash system represents a game-changing approach to enterprise storage.
We know your time is valuable, so let's dive right into the insights that can make a real difference for your organization. Thanks for watching.
Hello, everyone. My name is Demetirus Bell Jr., and I'm a Partner Technical Specialist here at IBM. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the top 5 reasons that customers buy Flash systems. This is a really good way for our customers to modernize their existing storage infrastructure and also add some really unique capabilities. So IBM has done a lot of work around understanding when people have chosen us over, maybe some of our competitors. Why did they do that? So we did a lot of research and we came up with this top 5. And starting up at the top left-hand corner here, it really starts off with portfolio simplicity. IBM has recognized that a lot of times when it comes to this idea of storage, it can be a little bit complex, especially in the small to medium business space. And so we've really done a lot of work to take this really complex idea of storage and make it simple. The way that we've done that, as you'll see as we go forward, is we've taken this, our portfolio, and we've boiled it down to about really one page. And we've got one purpose-built piece of hardware and then one software that stripes across the entire family. Makes it really easy for our consumers and customers and people who are trying to use Flash systems to consume it. Moving along the wheel here, we've got lowest total cost of ownership. So when we look at the Flash systems, we in over any period of time, in terms of 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever that is, typically we end up having the lowest total cost of ownership. And that's because of some of the unique things we're able to do around density. And again, we'll get into some of this stuff as we move forward. Now, we base that, the portfolio simplicity, lowest total cost of ownership, in and around things like cyber resiliency. And we're able to provide kind of this unique resilient solution to the marketplace based on our IBM FlashCore technology, right? And you can literally dispense this any way you want. There's a lot of flexibility there, right? So if you want to buy the hardware, you can buy that. If you want to buy the software, you can use it in the cloud, or maybe even you want to use a combination of these things, and you could do that. You could consume this as a service or utility option. We really provide you all of that capability, and you can kind of mix and match the way that you provide that for your infrastructure. So I'll continue on. So again, this is the portfolio, right? Extremely, extremely simple. And one of the most glaring things that differentiate Flash system is our simple kind of one hardware on one software platform for our arrays. So sitting at the bottom, embedded here in into our Flash systems, is IBM Storage Virtualized. So this is the code that runs on the device itself. And the cool thing about it is it comes with each and every one of the Flash systems that you see here. So no matter which platform that you pick, you actually get to benefit from all the latest code changes, all of the latest and greatest really that we add to the storage virtualized code. So this is things like our Flash systems grid. This is things like safeguarded copy and a whole host of other things, right? Now, included here at the bottom as well, with every single storage solution that goes out of our doors in terms of Flash, to help you kind of optimize your management and kind of using some of AI capabilities, is IBM Storage Virtualized. So This is our AI-powered predictive analytics and proactive monitoring solution for your primary storage platform. So what this means is really you can check the performance of your systems. You could get capacity alerts when you're running out of space, and more recently, you're actually able to even get some of these anomaly detection alerts, which detect if you've got things like ransomware or any other host of threats in your system, and you can get that alerting through the storage insights. And then in this little blurb here, kind of blown up, you can see at the core of our platform, it's at the heart of what we do. We've got the FlashCore module. It's kind of our secret sauce, so to speak. So we have this kind of industry leading computational storage module that consistently delivers very low latency and compression with no impact to performance at all. So every FlashCore module that I actually add, I'm adding additional cores of processor, memory. I'm adding all those things to the storage subsystem. And then again, keeping it simple, you'll notice small, medium, large in terms of our configuration here with the 5000 series, 7000 series, and a 9000 series. We even made it easy to choose kind of which system you need, right? So if you're the 5300 does about 1.5 million IOs. If you've got maybe 100 terabytes worth of storage, the 5300 is a pretty good little box for you. It's a 1U box, and believe it or not, they're linearly scalable. So 1U, 2U, 4U. And if this is doing 1.5 million IOs, this one is doing 3.5 million, and this one is doing about 10 million IOs, right? So pretty linearly scalable all the way around. And then the best part about it is all you do is choose your capacity, choose the performance that you're looking for, and then you choose how you want us to support you in the field. And for the most part, just keeping it simple, you've got your box. So this is our portfolio, right? Really simple. And it's one of the reasons why people enjoy consuming IBM. Moving forward here, flash systems have some of the smallest footprints in the industry. This is kind of what makes us unique, and we're really diving into that lowest total cost of ownership. And I'm going to explain how we do that. So the entry point here is that 5300. It's a 1U box. Mid-range is the 7300, which is the same chassis as the C200 here. And then the high end is the 9500, which is a 4U box. Now, it's the benefit that a customer receives is a smaller footprint, right? In a smaller footprint, every single cost in a data center is measured in some form of a rack U. So if you're able to fit the most of performance and capacity in a smallest amount of space, you're going to be able to save your customers a lot of money, which is why we've put a lot of performance, a lot of capacity, and a lot of functionality in these really small boxes. So smaller footprints means less power supplies and fans. It means less power costs. It means the ability to fit in kind of smaller spaces, smaller places as well. So these are places like retail centers. These are maybe mobile data centers, edge computing environments, easy targets for flash systems. And what makes the best footprint is density, right? So FlashCore modules are the densest flash in the industry. And we actually are able to provide, I think it's something like 38.4 terabytes of raw capacity in an industry standard 2.5-inch form factor drive. So this is 2.5 times more capacity than our competitive 2.5-inch form factor offerings. So again, this is the way that we're reducing costs. Not only have we made our portfolio simple, we've taken a lot of performance, capacity, and a lot of other really great things, put it in a really small space, and that's what overall saves costs to our customers. So moving forward with some of the features that make Flash System unique, a lot of times our competitors are seen as just kind of storage devices with maybe a few features, right? But as we continue on, you'll see that we actually bring a whole suite of additional features. So looking at the screen here, you can see that as it pops up, ransomware threat detection. This is big, right? Because we're in a world where cyber attacks can happen not even just if, but when they happen, and they can happen quite frequently and they can be costly. So the ability to have ransomware and threat detection on the storage itself is really big. The best part about it too, we're actually able to identify threats as they're being written to the disk. We can actually identify potential malware in seconds. So, on top of all of those things, we actually provide the latest in certifications and encryption. So, you'll see here we have a quantum safe encryption. All that means is to date, we haven't had a quantum computer be able to crack one of our flash core modules. We're able to do things like have the longest lasting flash in the market. Every time you write to a flash drive or QLC drive, it wears out. And a lot of people don't know that, but we have actually not had a failure or had a drive fail because of overwriting or anything like that. We're able to do 3-to-1 data compression. Best part about it is uh, you can do that, and you can do encryption, and you can do compression and compaction with no impact to performance. A lot of times people are saying if you have some of these really great features, that's probably going to mean the box is really slow. That's not so with IBM Flash systems because of the things that we're able to do within this Flash Core module. That's why it's our secret sauce. So we're able to provide kind of this ability to use the cost of QLC chips and then realize the benefits of SLC speeds for up to 20% of the flash system capacity, and then TL speeds for all the other capacities. So in other words, we're able to have really fast speeds, but also really affordable costs because of the way that we've built our flash core modules, right? So I just wanted to kind of showcase some of the things that make us unique and kind of dive into the secret sauce a little bit before we move into the next section, which will really dive into some of our differentiating capabilities. And that kind of brings us to kind of the 6 elements of cyber resilience. Now, before I dive into it, I want to talk about some misconceptions that clients have. A lot of them think that having cybersecurity software and having maybe some sort of a disaster recovery plan is true data or cyber resilience. And they believe that the cybersecurity software is going to keep criminals out. The problem is that's not always true. A lot of people, especially in 2024, about 62% of businesses actually experienced a network security breach and had some sort of economic loss. And a lot of times when we get to this point of the presentation, we have some of our small and medium-sized customers who think, well, that doesn't really apply to me, right? Because they're actually after the bigger businesses with the bigger pockets, and we're not as big as them, so they're not really after us. But that's not actually true. A lot of times, small, medium-sized businesses are the primary targets because unlike their larger counterparts, they don't have fully fleshed out security teams and disaster recovery plans and infrastructure teams. They just don't have those. And so it makes it kind of easy picking sometimes when it comes to cyber attacks. And a lot of times people believe that their backups will protect them, and that's actually not true, right? The primary attack vector today is backups, because just like we got smart and decided to put things in backups so that if something happens, we have something to recover from, bad guys got smart too and said, hey, we know where they're trying to recover their data from. Let's attack that first. Right. So the average time for a business to recover from an attack and be back to normal is about 23 days. And just looking through my Rolodex of business, I don't even know if people use Rolodexes anymore, but looking through my Rolodex of business or my book of business, I don't know any customer that can actually afford to not be doing business normally for over 3 weeks. Right. So that's kind of where this 360-degree protection that and security that flash systems bring to the table begins to shine, right? So flash core modules, we talked about some of the density that they have. We talked about some of the speeds and the encryption, but one of the most uh, glaring kind of features and differentiators is the ability to detect malware in seconds. So we're actually looking at every single read and write, every single IO that comes into a flash system that's using FlashCore modules, we're actually looking at them to detect both active and dormant threats. Now, this is outside of any cybersecurity tools that you may have. Imagine if a client had the ability to look at potentially malicious data or malicious activity as it's being written to the disk. This is a huge differentiator, and a lot of our competitors, or I don't think any of our competitors, are currently able to do this. We also have, rounding this out, flash system grid technology. Now, this is new, but it's another critical layer of defense, right? Because it's going to spread data intelligently across multiple flash system arrays. You can put, I think it's up to 8 of them currently within a flash system grid. You can manage all of these systems as one singular system. So I could put a 5300 like we saw earlier with maybe a 7300 and a 5045, or I can just kind of mix and match and make kind of the most resilient solution I can. But what this does is this is going to ensure that even if part of the infrastructure is compromised, the data is going to remain available and resilient across the flash system grid, right? So it's built-in redundancy, it's high availability, it's fault isolation, and it's going to give our cyber resilient architecture, the plan that we're creating, it's going to give it both strength and it's going to give it flexibility. So to put it simply, if you got nothing else from that flash system grid, we're you can think of it as a resilient, always on foundation that keeps the rest of my cyber recovery tools online and working even during an attack, right? So it's an amazing feature that we've added. Next, we've got safeguarded copies. Now, this is IBM's version of immutable copies. A lot of our competitors and a lot of customers are already doing this, right? But safeguarded copies is how we bring immutability to the data. So we're able to, as it's being written, or once you've written to it, prevent anyone else from writing to it. It can't be changed, it can't be altered, can't be deleted. And this is important because bad actors can't encrypt data that they can't write to, right? So this is why that safeguarded copy is important. Now, what if a client could provide scanning, testing, validation of the data every 24 hours and automate the entire process, right? That would be big. What if you could actually recover not from some outside environment, but on the actual storage subsystem itself? Why would this be important? Well, if I have a safeguarded copy and I'm taking these copies, I can recover from this on my flash system in seconds. If I have to go to an external environment to do that, it's going to take me more time. And when we're in a cyber attack, time is our enemy. We're trying to do all of this stuff as fast as possible. So imagine if you could actually recover on the array itself. We give you that capability so you don't have to imagine it. And again, imagine if a client could provide scanning, testing, validation of the data maybe every 24 hours, and then automate that process. Well, that's what we're doing with CyberVault and our Defender and our Sentinel methodology. And then what if, with all of that, you could actually take everything that we've spoken about and then also wrap around it a suite of guarantees that will make the customer feel safe, right? You could provide a guarantee of immutable recovery of 60 seconds or less, right? And that's what we're doing. We actually will guarantee that a client can both, well, two guarantees actually. One is we can actually detect active and dormant threats in 60 seconds or less, right? In about a minute. And then we can actually recover from a safeguarded copy. We can actually recover your mission critical data in about 60 seconds or less. Right? And this is a guarantee that this is not like just me talking or cute sales jargon. This is something that we signed for, and it's called our it's our Flash Watch program, and we actually we do have a guarantee around that, and there's contracts around this stuff. So we're really serious about the capabilities that we're offering here. And again, it's a really big differentiator. And we're really differentiating in the sense that we're not just talking about storage, right? It's not just a blob of storage anymore. This is kind of a true end-to-end cyber resilience solution, right? And also a data modernization solution, as we'll see. Now, when we look at this from an end user perspective, Storage Virtualized provides me the ability to front end more than 500 different storage subsystems. So if I wanted, I could make the center of my universe storage virtualized, and then I could use all of the reporting tools, get the storage services that I may or may not have, including the ransomware and threat detection on um, on competitive storage subsystems. So let's say I've got 100 terabytes of Dell, 50 terabytes of Pure, 50 terabytes of NetApp. As because of Storage Virtualized, the software that comes with each of our flash systems, I don't actually see those three storage vendors. All I see is 200 terabytes of storage. I then wrap my arms around that storage and manage it as just a pool of storage. And because of the functionality that comes with that software, I'm able to extend that ransomware threat detection even to those competitive storage subsystems. The only catch is that instead of looking at every single read and write like I would do on a IBM flash system that's using our flash core module 4s, I'll just look at one out of every 100. And this is still really great because it's a capability that they may not have. Think about those clients that say, hey, we've already got an existing investment in our in our data infrastructure within our data center. We don't want to lose that investment, right? We spent a lot of money on it, or sometimes it's just a legacy system that works and it does everything that they want them to do, and so they don't want to get rid of it. Well, because of Storage Virtualized and the ability to wrap my arms around that system and manage it and give it the same form, function, and feature as that flash system, I can actually breathe new life into that legacy system. And so using flash systems is a really good modernization play as well. Uh, and you can get this same form, function, and feature in the cloud with Storage Virtualized for public cloud. So it enables organizations to provide the same functionalities in clouds like IBM, AWS, and Azure, and you get one interface no matter where the client needs to be. So no longer do I need, a Dell person to learn the Dell box, a Pure person to learn the Pure box, and learn all these different interfaces. You could get one form, function, feature, one interface, whether you're in the cloud, whether you're on premises, doesn't matter. You can manage it all kind of from one single pane of glass. And so you really only need to learn one thing to manage everywhere. Now, continuing on, flash systems can be provided, like I mentioned before, really flexibly. So you can do this in a storage as a service model where the customer pays for, cloud-based storage via consumption model. We base this on effective or a raw capacity and not effective capacity. So all this means for the customer is that they reap the benefits of effective capacity without spending more. And then we have our storage utility model, and it provides kind of consumption-based pricing and a leasing model. So it makes it really flexible for organizations that want to, maybe spread payments out and then still own the equipment over time. And then upon renewal of the lease, the good thing is the customer receives new capacity and controllers, all at a point less than or equal to the previous pricing, which is really good. And then we have storage assurance, right? And we're giving the clients kind of the ability here to consistently stay modern from a storage technology perspective. And we're really helping you to avoid that vendor lock-in, right? So you could upgrade at any point, and we're giving you the insurance that if, for example, a capacity upgrade isn't available for your system, or let's say from a service level agreement perspective, we're not meeting a performance metric for a customer, IBM will come in and will remove and replace the physical piece of hardware and kind of make you whole, so to speak. Now, the last thing I'd like to talk about is typically at this point of the presentation, someone will say, hey, look, you've told me that my cybersecurity tools won't cut it. You've told me that they are after smaller and medium businesses. And this is a lot of stuff to consider in terms of becoming what IBM says is truly cyber or data resilient. So where do I start? right? And we have something for that. A lot of times, you know, you don't want to boil the ocean, right? We want to find with pinpoint accuracy where we should start on our journey. And so the way that we do that is we like to come in and do this assessment with them. It's no cost to them. It's about $40,000 worth of value, but because we truly are bought in on trying to help clients and customers and even partners become truly data resilient, this is a service that we're offering. So what it is we come in and we base it off of the NIST cyber resiliency framework. Most of the compliance and regulatory standards that they'll have to meet have some part of the NIST framework underlying it. And so, although this isn't uh, a compliance standard or anything like that, it's a framework that, if you follow it, can help you become compliant across any of those, uh, any of the compliant things that you're looking at. So, if it's PCI or anything like that. Now, it's about 2 hours, takes about, you know, I mean, but you don't have to do it all at once. You could break it up into a couple days or two different sessions, and we'll ask you questions. It's non-invasive. We're not going to plug anything into the system or scan the environment. It's questions to determine kind of how mature are you in these different areas, your ability to identify an attack, detect or protect your data, detect where active and dormant threats are, judge where you are in terms of being able to respond and recover in terms in facing a cyber attack. And then finally, look at your ability to govern the environment, right? And what's produced is an executive level report. So if we kind of zoom in here, you'll see that you actually have kind of a score here, where your maturity level, practicing, developing, defined, etc. And it lets you know kind of where we should start. And what it produces is not necessarily IBM stuff to buy. What it actually produces is recommendations on kind of where we should start our work. So, for example, importance level here is level one. This means it's very important. And maybe we should determine restore processes off or on site, right? Sometimes it'll be a recommendation like add a logical or physical air gap. And so there's definitely things within the IBM portfolio that could do that, but we're not pushing anything specifically on you. And so typically, after a client will go through these results, we'll go through it with them, and then we'll determine where kind of we should start on their journey to data resiliency. Sometimes it's not sometimes they already have fully built out capabilities around being able to identify, protect, and detect. Sometimes it's just the response and recovery, and we're poised to help them there. So we really like to use this as a way to smooth the path for easier work and to kind of figure out where we can establish a beachhead and move forward. The benefit um, is, again, that we kind of know where we need to go and where we need to start on our journey. So with that being said, that's all I had to share today. I'm thankful that you're all taking the time out to, listen to this. And if you have any questions, feel free to send an email, and hopefully we can get a response or get something back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.